As I'm recording this video, I just got home after watching Fantastic Four. If you didn't know it's in movies right now, maybe I'm a bit confused. This movie should be in the background of every twerking music video of Sexy Red because it's that ass. It was that ass. The person who I went with, we kept looking at each other during the movie and going like, "Oh my god!" You give someone that look like, "Why are we really doing this? Are we really watching this?" Now, I saw Superman twice. It was really good. I enjoyed it. This, I don't understand why the reviews are so positive. I don't know. Now, we're going to mix this in with some Aku Anime Cosmic Pluralism, the series, because if you know some occultism or theology or esoteric studies, if you saw this movie, you probably would have predicted every single step in the plot. It was so predictable. Now, I'm going to spoil this movie in this video. If you didn't watch the movie, you don't plan to, probably, I think I'm going to save you the time, okay? If you plan to watch the movie and want spoilers, check out tomorrow's video, the Aku Anime, just not today, all right? So I'm going to go step by step to what happened and mix it in with the esoteric information. Now, let's do a background here. Cosmic pluralism. Let's talk about Gnosticism. I made a whole series breaking this school of thought and ideology down. Gnosticism is essentially a set of philosophical and religious ideologies that gained popularity during the first century or so. It was the belief that salvation, self-awareness, and enlightenment comes from acquiring secret knowledge of the universe. But it's only presented to people who are able to receive this knowledge. That's what the term esoteric technically means. Gnostics believe that the universe is based on duality. The material world that we live in is very flawed and inherently evil. Yet the spiritual world is noted to be mostly good. Now, the material world that we live in, our universe, us right now, it's ruled by a very flawed and lesser deity known as the Demiurge. Depending on who you speak with and your interpretation of Gnosticism, is very commonly pointed that the Demiurge is the God of the Holy Bible. Hence why God in the Bible, at least the Old Testament, is very violent and controlling and egotistically fragile. Because according to Gnostics, Yahweh in the Bible is the Demiurge. Some people also say the Demiurge is Allah, but I'm going to end up starting a riot. I'm not trying to, I'm saying, I feel like me just saying Yahweh is a demiurge is already confident. That's what people are saying. Some people say it's Allah too. So I'm just saying, okay, there's a reason why Gnosticism isn't very fond to most people in society, because it seeks enlightenment and knowledge and salvation through the inner self, not through an external being. In Gnosticism, they say Jesus is a spiritual messenger who tried to show us liberation from this material and evil world that is ruled by the Demiurge. Now, what does this all have to do with Fantastic Four, right? Where am I going with this? Well, in Gnosticism, each planet is ruled by what is called an archon. Archons are beings created by the Demiurge. They're like fallen angels to basically feed off of the souls of human beings and other entities. Again, every planet is associated with an archon. Is basically like a demigod with a lot of power or whatever. It's a demigod, right? Gnosticism was influenced and has influenced a lot of spiritual and philosophical teachings the more you get into it. Now, since you understand this, I'm going to show you how easily predictable this movie was, because you're going to see it falls into every single theme of this, and it just retells the story in a sense. The movie starts off with Invisible Woman sharing with Mr. Fantastic that she's pregnant. Now, a movie wouldn't start off like this, emphasizing pregnancy, unless there's going to be a miscarriage later, or they're going to have to choose between the baby and something significant in the story. It's always going to be an ethical dilemma. It happens in every movie, okay? But this is a Disney movie. They're not going to do a miscarriage. So there's only one option left, okay? The only option. So they're like, oh my God, we're going to bring a baby into this world. We tried for many years. So the whole world, mind you, the Fantastic Four are like celebrities worldwide. Mr. Fantastic is also like a huge professor, and Invisible Woman, I think she's a doctor, but she's also doing some sort of like politics or diplomatic relations. So everyone is like, wow, it's going to be a Fantastic Five now. And all of a sudden, the Silver Surfer shows up. It shows up into the planet out of nowhere, which the CGI is so bad throughout this whole movie. Like, you should see how the Thing looks in this movie. It just doesn't. You'll see it. It looks cool in the pictures, right? But once you see it in the movie, it's like, I saw it in 3D too. It just doesn't look right. So she shows up, right? And she's like, the planet will be devoured by Galactus and the world is going to end. Say nice things to your loved ones. Bye. It just flies off. Pretty much it. No backs, no lore, nothing. Just, hey, y'all are going to die. I'm out of here. And then she tries to fly away, really, basically into outer space, right? She's leaving the atmosphere. So the Human Torch turns into fire and chases after her. Somehow, you're going to see this as a common thing because it doesn't make any sense. The speed of the Silver Surfer is relevant only to the scenes that she's in when it's convenient. Listen here. So this character, the Silver Surfer, is able to travel through outer space, through different dimensions and universes at exceptional speed, right? How do you think she ended up on Earth? But somehow she gets caught up by the Human Torch. Okay. So somehow the Human Torch can do that. It can catch up to her speed. All right, whatever. So they share like an intimate moment, right? And she says something in some foreign language. And then he basically falls in love with her after she escapes, right? And it becomes like a corny inside joke within the Fantastic Four, right? So the Fantastic Four, while Invisible Woman is actively pregnant at this point, they're also, after this happens, they announce like the world is going to be devoured. Nobody cares anymore. Besides the Fantastic Four, everyone's going on with their lives. Like, hey, someone just said we're going to get devoured. Anyway, I'm going to go back to work next day. Like, people got bills to pay. That's the economy must be bad in that game too. I about to say that movie too. Like, because people really don't care. So Invisible Woman is like super pregnant at this point, actively pregnant, and they're like, Galactus, if he's going to come to this planet and devour it, we can't let that happen. We're going to go to him instead rather than him come to us. Okay, that sounds like a plan. So bring a pregnant woman in her final stages of pregnancy to fight some evil being. Boom. So they set this up. They go to outer space and proceed to do some technological maneuvers to basically travel through space and the galaxy and the universe, whatever. And they need this spaceship to do so. Keep that in mind. So they show up to this planet where Galactus is at, right? And the Silver Surfer shows up and she's like, you guys should have never came here. And basically absorbs them into the planet. And basically the Galactus's planet is like some broken down junkyard. And Silver Surfer escorts them through it. And the Human Torch is trying to like flirt with her. And like she didn't just threaten the whole existence of Earth, right? And he's asking like what she said in her language to him, right? And eventually, they meet Galactus, right? Yo, I like this part of the movie. The presentation of Galactus is really cool. And it made you, when I saw him, I remember I was watching the movie in 3D. When I saw Galactus show up, I was like, I was scared. I actually felt scared. I was like, I felt a little bit stressed. And I'm watching the movie here. It felt like, this is a god right here. This is a God. I could feel the evil. And I was hyped. They're like, this is cool, bro. Like, it sounds crazy, but like the movie sucks. So I'm seeing something that's cool here. I'm like, this is awesome here. And what I say about the baby? Remember what I said earlier in this video? So Galactus is like, I will not consume your planet if I can have the unborn baby. So choose between your planet or the baby. Now, I told you this was going to happen 5 minutes into the movie. And this goes into the Gnostic theme, right? So, I mean, I don't know if you're paying attention to what's showing on the video right here, right? Or throughout the video, but I've been putting pictures in the background here, right? So Galactus, as you can see here, is some huge giant. And then when they finally start talking to him, you realize Galactus is sitting in an office chair from Staples. An office chair. A gamer chair. And he has a desk, which is the platform the Fantastic Four showed up to talk to him in. Why does he need an office chair? What paperwork would this? I don't know. There's nobody else on this planet besides him and the Silver Surfer. Okay, so and he's doing paperwork. Anyway, so yeah, I just don't. He's just like sitting on some chair, some some office. Anyway, so you see how huge this guy is, right? So again, this guy is the representation of an archon figure or the demiurge himself. This is that malicious being that consumes the souls of everything that is in this universe, this malicious creature. And it's like, yo, this is godlike. Face to face with the being that consumes has hunger for the living force of nature. And they don't seem to really be that intimidated about it. He asked for the baby because the baby represents a divine spark. How? How did I know that? How did I know the baby? Because this is the baby of two DNA altered Fantastic Four characters. They're all DNA altered. So naturally, this baby is going to be the salvation and the power spike for this archon or godlike demiurge-like figure. Typical, right? So in typical superhero logic fashion, they have an ethical dilemma. Make a choice. Save mankind or let him have the baby. Okay, so I feel like saving mankind is better. Well, what would you prefer? You know, the baby, unborn baby. So see, this gets into the political things too. This gets political. Would you give up an unborn baby if you could save humanity? But they don't want to do it. They're like, no, I'm not doing this. And then you know what happened? They get somehow her labor gets triggered. Like they triggered her labor. So now she's like about to like pop the baby out. So she's like ready to give birth. And then they try to escape out of this planet, that Galactus. And they're still on it. They're on his office desk talking to him while he's in the office chair. And they make it to the spaceship and they're like flying out of there, right? And as they're trying to fly away from this planet, Silver Surfer chases after them. After somehow she's able to keep up with the spaceship, right? And the spaceship goes through a wormhole. And they're traveling through they're going past the speed of light at this point. They're going through all sorts of physical, scientific, all sorts of stuff. She's able to keep up. She's keeping up with them easily, very easily. And, all scientific laws are broken at this point. And this is what I meant about her speed being convenient for the scene, because this happens again. So you'll notice this, right? The Human Torch was like trying to shoot at her and stuff. And it wasn't working too well. So they were like, you know what? There's a black hole. There's a black hole here. We can trick her into falling to the black hole. So they trick her into that. And she ends up falling into the black hole. You know, the very thing that, consumes everything around it, a black hole. Then right after that, after she disappears, Silver Surfer gets absorbed. In the middle of an intergalactic escape from a black hole. And while they're going at extreme speeds, and gravity is all over the place, Invisible Woman gives birth to the baby. Baby's completely fine. Just, somehow gravity doesn't, anyway, her pants get taken off automatically. It just flies off. It's like, so, and then right after the scene, the Silver Surfer escapes the black hole and returns to Galactus. So this shorty is fast enough to escape a black hole, which is not, I'm keep nailing on this point here. It's just, so everyone on Earth is like, they return back to Earth, the Fantastic Four, and everyone on Earth is like, why didn't you guys give up the baby instead of saying that, they'll destroy humanity? You guys could have given up the baby. Now we're all gonna die. We're not gonna be saved. And all the characters, basically, until the end of the movie, it's just filler at this point, have brainstorming issues. Mr. Fantastic is confused over formulas, and he's talking about, Archimedes and the mathematical, platonic, scientific, Archimedical, and people are like, what does this have to do with it? Like, bro, what? You can't keep these thoughts to yourself, bro. He's got to share every single thought he has with other people. And Invisible Woman is like mad at him the whole time because she doesn't want to give it the kid. And Human Torch is obsessed with the Silver Surfer girl speaking a foreign language to him. Like that's like his kink, right? And then the Thing, I didn't even mention the Thing throughout the whole movie. You know why? Because I'm not even exaggerating. If you saw the movie, I'm not lying here. 3/4 of the movie, the Thing is just buying cookies and shopping Like, nobody cares that this huge rocky looking thing is just walking around with just cookies in his hand. And in the beginning of the movie, he's in front of a school and the kids are amazed by his strength, but nobody cares otherwise. You know, it's very odd that nobody cares seeing a giant rocky dude with a huge torso walking down the street every single day. Nobody's amazed by this or even talks to him. Thank you for what you did, the thing. Nobody cares. They only showed it in the beginning of the movie, and then after that, he's just a pedestrian. So speaking of the end of the movie here, right? Because it's just filler at this point. It's about 1 hour and 30 minutes in. This is the first time we finally see how good the Fantastic Four is in combat. Finally, some good action that doesn't involve Silver Surfer chasing people or her being chased. They decide to bring Galactus to Earth. And basically, they're going to send him to another part of the universe. This is their grand scheme, right? Because first they were like, they're going to move the Earth to another part of the universe so he can't reach it. Like, what the bro, this doesn't even make any sense. You're building these giant things in suburban area. Anyway, so they're gonna put the baby in the middle of Times Square to bait him to entering Earth, right? So it works. They got this giant Galactus entering New York City. And they try to evacuate everyone underground, which is physically impossible. Imagine putting everyone in New York City underground to some weird civilization that lives under there. Not everyone got evacuated down there either. So you knew Galactus was coming to New York City only. Why did you send everyone underground? What about make them leave the city? They could have went to New Jersey or some other states around there and been safe. The population of New York City cannot be contained underground. So finally, we get some combat going on here. Some consistent and decent combat, and I'm loving it. And Invisible Woman basically is able to defeat Galactus with her own powers at the end. So this is what aggravated me about this. This completely disregarded the presentation of this character. Galactus, that is. I remember how hyped I was even just talking about this. They presented him like I was scared. He was a god. This guy is crazy. And then all of a sudden, one character is just able to just pin him down and push him away. And basically, Galactus is noted as one of the strongest beings in that universe. Okay. Invisible Woman's able to do this. All right. I love it, bro. So they save the baby, and Invisible Woman basically sacrifices herself to push Galactus into the galaxy wormhole, and he gets transported to some other part of the whatever, right? And she just dies right there. That's it. She used all her power to die. But here comes the divine spark, cosmic seed, Gnostic salvation theme, right? So she's laying there. She's laying dead on the floor. It was obvious she was gonna come back alive. You know, it's a Disney movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't really die in Disney movies. So everyone is crying. Oh my God, my wife is dead. And you know, now I got no baby mama. And you know, the baby then goes on top of her and resurrects her just like that. Because the baby, remember what I said earlier? The baby is the divine spark. And she returns back to normal, fully healed, everything. And that's why Galactus wanted him. He even says to the kid's face while he's holding the kid at one point, the kid will be his salvation. This is just like Gnosticism all over again. You know who this kid really is? Well, first let me explain the themes here. Why I say this is like Gnosticism all over again. Creation, sacrifice, resurrection. Divine spark liberates you and is your salvation to immortality and enlightenment. And the baby is born from a mortal, like Jesus, but has divine spark or a divine soul, like Jesus. And like Jesus, temptations and fallen angels or the devil or some malicious being tries to control him or destroy him. Clap it up, y'all. Fantastic Four. I hope I saved y'all the money. Listen, we're out of points at the movie theater, okay? We didn't even pay for the movie. We had points, and it was in 3D. So 3D of ass. I'm going to double down on that one. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. I'm out.